Happy Sunday, everyone. On tonight's broadcast, we have stories on the local wildfires that are happening at the Devil's Tower and the Lumen fire that is just outside of Sheridan County. In Sheridan County, there's over 7,000 active burning acres, and firefighters are doing their best. Local, regional, and federal firefighters and crews are there with resources handling these wildfires. But what's interesting is that in this last legislative session, their budgets for fire districts and special districts was cut in some areas and some districts by 30 or 40%. And yet these firefighters brave the elements and these fires in order to do their jobs to keep people and properties safe. So we hope all of them stay safe and hope that these fires subside quickly. Additionally, we have another story on water usage, again with the Colorado Basin impact. We hear from Governor Gordon about the agreement between the states. The upper three states have a little bit more flexibility when it comes to water conservation, and the lower three basins are getting a little bit more restrictions and are not totally pleased with that, obviously. The thing to keep in mind is that these lower three basin states that have got more restrictive water conservations planned, California is our major food producer and food supplier for the US. They supply a bulk of our vegetables, a bulk of our fruits and nuts. And so by restricting their water usage, that restricts agricultural output for the US, which could raise, again, prices for food items on top of inflation, on top of tariffs, and again, on top of everything that's happening in the Strait of Hormuz. So a lot of stuff to sort of connect the dots with and to keep in mind in terms of the cost of growing, living, and just water usage within our nation. Water is going to become, in my opinion, the future liquid gold, and is going to be the rarest and most expensive commodity probably within the next decade. But our time will tell, and the agreements that are being made and hashed out at this point also will tell. The agreement was supposed to be confirmed at the end of July, but got an extension until October. If there's no clear resolution, the federal government will also step in and start dictating to these 7 basin states as to what their water usage should be. Another side note that's really interesting that I thought was interesting was that the data centers are also looking to sort of pepper themselves along these 7 Colorado Basin impact or states, which would further tax potentially in some of, depending on the design of and water usage of these data centers, would further tax water usage within these states for the sake of commerce and economic growth. Again, adding another element of interest to these stories. So definitely stuff that you should keep an eye on in terms of water usage, data centers, and ag and growth, considering that Wyoming is a headwater state and produces most of the water that comes from or to these Colorado Basin states. Anyways, that is all in our 5:30 and our 10 o'clock shows for tonight, Sunday. We hope you watch and hope you have a great rest of your evening and have a great week next week. Bye.